So hi everyone. Hi, hi Joe. Hi Janet. Hi Ian. I can see Simon as well. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
So welcome to the session. So last week I remember talking about looking at GBP, GBP USD, NZD USD, of which I'm still holding my positions on GBP USD and NZD USD. I think we were to have a session on Thursday. Was it on Thursday or on Friday? But I was a bit
Friday.
yeah, it was on Friday. Yeah. But most people aren't available. I also got other engagements, so I found it important to have the session today, considering it's Monday, it's the start of the week. For most part of the world, it's a holiday, but then again, in the markets are still open, the markets are still moving. So I found it a good time. We look at what you're expecting for the week. So maybe let me start off with the pairs that I am still holding. Then we can get into what we are expecting for the week. So I'll start off with GBP. I'll start off with GBP USD, whereby you remember we had this whole push. This was a CPI push last week. Price got back to supply. Then I had this strong drop. This whole bearish engulfing kind of candle here on H4. We had showing that now that this supply has still held, and now we are about to reverse. The market is about to reverse back into a bearish, back into a bearish bias. So when price got to this area and you had the candle closes below the zone, we had this bullish candle that came to retest. We had a retest of supply before continuation of the drop. So I took my positions from here, this level. And I remember my first target being 1.27 thousand, which is these H4 lows here, 1.27 thousand. The reason is because price formed kind of like a demand level at this area, at these lows. Remember, even the very first time that we took sales from here, price still didn't take out these lows. Do you remember when we took the sales? When was it last week? When you are looking at sales from this area, and our target was this level, of which still hadn't been taken out. But now, starting the week today, we can see price as now is forming lower lows, lower than these previous lows, showing that there is high likelihood we will have a continuation of this prevailing bearish trend. Okay, and remember, my major target for this trade is still this demand area down here on the 4-hour time frame, considering this demand area is the major origin of this whole rally back to this supply area. So looking at it in terms of range-wise perspective, so I'm expecting the range to be filled. That supply level held. We had a shift in market structure to bearish. Now we are taking out these lows, forming lower lows. So the next area that price must get, the next area that you're looking at for price to get to is the origin of the previous rally, which is now this area. Now look at the similarity of setup between this and Euro USD as well. If you remember what we had discussed on Euro USD, you had this kind of similar scenario. Price drops to this low, then rallies back to supply, then eventually dropped all the way to this demand area. So our target was hit. So this was a good 170 pip move from here back to this demand area. Yeah, it was a nice 170 pip move. Then after that, we had this push. This was CPI push, then FOMC push price, and then by the close of the trading week on Monday, we had already formed this break below this level here, the break below this demand area. Okay. Now we have a solid break below demand. We have candle closes below demand. Now we have multiple kind of like we have a slight consolidation, considering today is Monday. So we have a slight consolidation inside this area. It's more of an accumulation phase in the market. So you have a slight consolidation within this area. So I'm expecting price to come to 1.07 to 50 areas, this level here, so that you can have you can take more sell positions. So one can either one can either have sell limits at 1.07 to 50, or you can have manual execution, waiting for price to get to that area. So maybe within either New York session or tomorrow, considering Mondays are usually slow days, very slow days in the market. Okay. So this is what I'm looking at. Now, when I was talking about the similarity in setups, look at what you have on Euro USD and what you have on GBP USD. Remember mentioning that my major target is down here for this whole range to be filled, considering this was the origin of the rally from this demand all the way back to this supply. Look at the kind of setup also on Euro USD. Price filled this range from this demand to this supply and back to demand area, considering this demand was the origin of the rally from this area all the way back to supply. Now you have a break of this demand. And I remember, I think, was it Rachel who had asked me this question during one of last week's sessions, where what I'm expecting to see on Euro USD. The first time we had this CPI push, then we had now FOMC push, and by the end of the closing, by the end of the trading week on Friday, we had now the actual candle closes below the zone. Maybe is Rachel in the meeting?
Yes.
Hi Rachel.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You?
I'm good, thanks. So welcome to the session.
Thank
We
you.
had discussed this setup with you was it one of the sessions last week?
Yeah.
Remember, it was before CPI, because we were anticipating for this zone to get broken, of which first we saw this push till this area, then now we have the confirmation of this zone breaking. We have multiple candle closes below the zone. So now this, let me even go to a time frame lower. Now you can see you have multiple confirmations of this zone being taken out. We have candle closes below the zone. Now we're expecting a retest before continuation of the prevailing bearish trend. But now the question is, where does one get in? Where does one get into this trade? So I just mentioned just like a few minutes ago, hereby one can have one can have sell limits at 1.07 to 50 areas up here, because that is now the most premium price of this zone. Now demand has been taken out. You expect it to be retested the supply before continuation of the prevailing trend. So this is the most premium price for this zone. So that's why I'm saying you can have your sell limits at 1.07 to 50 areas, or one can wait for price. One can still wait for price to come to this level. Then you have a manual execution. Then my target for this setup trade will be now this next demand area down here at about 1.06100 levels. This is my target will be 1.06100 levels at this demand area. Now, why this demand area? Now that this demand has been broken and you expect it to be retested as supply, what will be our next area of interest? Okay, so our next area of interest, considering now we are trading supply and demand, so we are always looking at taking positions from key supply and demand levels. So if your trade is at, for example, you've taken a trade at a key supply, then you know that your target is at the next major demand area. If you've taken a trade from demand, you know your target is at a major supply level. Okay, so with knowing that, we know that our next major demand area is down here. Okay. Now, there are people who will maybe their understanding of the breakout retest continuation scenario will maybe want them to take their position at current price, of which they will not be wrong. But then again, they will incur some drawdown before eventually price goes into their direction. So that means you'll maybe have to have wider stops, and you'll have to be more patient enough to withstand the drawdown before eventually price goes into your direction. But once you understand the aspects of supply and demand, when you have heard me mention about premium price, because you don't want to sell at a price, then price maybe starts going slightly higher, then you maybe start panicking into the trade, maybe doubting the setup. Yet your setup is correct. It's only that you took a very early entry. Okay, so that's why I've mentioned you can have a sell limit on manual execution at 1.07 to 50. Then my target for this trade is this demand level down here. Now, why this demand? This demand, if I can zoom out, You can see this demand area was now the major origin of this whole rally to this supply. And you remember we've mentioned quite a number of times that we have, when you're discussing ranges, we have two categories of ranges. We have major ranges and minor ranges. But a major range can be broken down into several minor ranges as well. Now that play is what is happening currently. We had the first within this major range between this demand to this supply and back to this demand. We had a minor range from here to these lows and back to supply. Then now we had the range from supply to this demand fully filled. Now we have the next bearish range, which is now from this demand, from this supply, because now demand has been broken, you expect it to be supply, all the way back to this demand area being our major origin of this whole rally to this area. Okay. So, and even when I zoom out, you can see even when price was dropping from this supply area, the same place where I took our very first sells, again, this was the major target for this drop. Okay. So I'll be expecting, this is one of my key setups for the week. I'm actually waiting for it to get to 1.07 to 50 areas. This area here that I can execute. So this is a setup that I'm keenly watching out for. And remember, the target is 1.06, 100. So that is one good swing setup for the week that I am looking out for. So feel free. You can have your sell limits. Like I've said, you can have sell limits or you can have manual execution. Then I've just talked about GBP USD. So what I'll be waiting to see is maybe a retest of these broken lows, considering we have kind of like a demand area here now, where these lows have been taken out. So I'll be expecting to see maybe a retest of this area, or maybe price forms a lower high before now a continuation of the drop. So my major target still remains this demand area on a long-term perspective. Okay. So my major target still remains this demand area on a long-term on a long-term perspective. Then I was talking about NZD USD as well. Remember sharing this setup on the Discord. Yes, this setup is what we had here. Yes, this is the USD breakdown that I posted here on the technical analysis channel on the Discord is what we have here. And the very first time I took the position when price was just around this area, 0.61800 areas. So currently have price from this area, price dropped all the way, and by close of the trading week on Friday, price is about 0.61400 areas. Now you can see price is still dropping lower, so I'm still holding those positions. Now remember, the very first time we had sales from this area, that was an FP week, we had price dropped all the way to these lows. Then you had a rally, and this rally was also, now this strong push was fueled by the CPI release that we had the same day we had the FOMC. Then now price price got to this area, we had a fake breakout, then strong drop back into the zone. Now anytime you have such kind of a scenario where you have a fake breakout, always wait for the next candle to confirm your sentiment. So don't go getting into the trade now. You've seen a breakout, you haven't seen a retest, you haven't seen a solid like higher being formed or lower being formed. You can see this is a fake breakout up here on NZD USD, but on Euro USD, let me bring. But this is a real breakout. Put it on our time frame. Now this one here, this is a real breakout. This is not a fake breakout. But on but here, this is a fake breakout. So here we are expecting a retest. So here we are expecting a retest before continuation of the prevailing trend. Here, anyone who will be expecting a retest will have been taken out and stopped out. So it is very important to also differentiate between the two, between a solid breakout and a fake breakout. Okay. With a fake breakout, you'll see something like this happen, then the next candle that happens will come and close in the direction that you're expecting the price to reverse towards. But a real, a real breakout, you'll have price forming either a new high or a new low. Then you have a retest, of that of the broken either supply or demand before continuation of the prevailing trend. Okay, and that is like what you had during this side. That is what we had on okay. So I'm still holding this position. My target is 0.61,000. When price hits that target, that is my first target. The major target is still this demand area down here. Okay, so my major target still is this demand area down here, but my first target is 0.61,000. These lows down here. Then maybe let's look at the dollar index. And remember, we were discussing the dollar index with Simon. Simon, are you around?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Simon.
Hi.
So how are you?
I'm fine.
Do you see we had discussed the dollar index with you last week? Was it last week or when you're having CPI CPI week and FOMC? Yeah, it was last week. Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah. So and I remember when price broke this structure up here. I remember mentioning two things. I'm expecting price. My major target for the first target for the dollar index was this area, 105.350 areas of which has been tapped. But however, the structure that happened is price dropped back to demand first before eventually now rallying all the way again and now getting to our major our target, which was 105.350 areas. If you remember during that session, especially after these highs were formed. Now,
Yes.
what I am expecting in a long-term perspective is that I am looking at a potential dollar strength. Okay. Now that we have broken this structure above, we have formed higher highs up here. You remember how price has been ranging between this structure and this demand for quite a while. Now we have broken above this demand, we have formed new highs up here. So I'll be expecting maybe a retest of this area before continuation of the rally higher. And my major target for the dollar index in the long term is 106 areas up here. These highs up here, 106. That is the areas that that is the area that I'm expecting price to get to. Okay. So that's my target for the dollar index. Now I have started off with the individual pairs. Okay, giving my bias on the individual pairs. Then I've looked at the dollar index for confluence. I've not started with the dollar index, then I go into the other pairs. I've started with the individual pairs, then I get into the dollar index. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because you first have to have a bias on the pairs that you're looking at, then now look at the basket for confluence of the pairs that you're looking at. Now the dollar index is the basket for all dollar pairs. So you can see that we are bearish on GBP USD, we are bearish on Euro USD, we are bearish on NZD USD. So, and now when you confirm that, now when you use the dollar index as a confluence, you can see that yes, even the dollar index is bullish. So that also now that adds a confluence to the pairs, to the bias we are looking out for on the different pairs that you've mentioned about. Okay. So maybe anyone with a pair that you'd like us to look at. I think I've started off with the pairs that are on my watch list. So that is GBP USD, Euro USD. I've told you where you can take the positions on Euro USD, but I'd like to hear now from you guys. Anyone who has a pair you'd like us to look at, feel free. Let's check it out.
Jeff,
Yes.
there is a point nilikuwa nataka clarify.
Okay.
When you're talking about hiyo Euro USD, ukatumia the 1 hour chart ukasema ya kwamba already the breakout is confirmed.
Yes.
Yet nakumbuka the moment tulikuanga na the sessions za classes, you had told us kama mtu anataka kuconfirm breakout, let's say kama umeona fake breakout kwa 4 hour na hauko sure, you have to go back to the daily chart.
Yeah.
Ukiona haiku breakout kwa daily ndio saa uko sure kabisa.
Yes.
So saizi nakuwa confused juu hii tumeconfirm na 1 hour and I thought tunafaa kuconfirm on the daily.
Okay, good. Now, what I mentioned about that is anytime you are suspecting a fake breakout, you look at the time frame higher. For example, angalia what you had here, up here, still on Euro USD. You see this on the 4-hour time frame, shows a breakout,
Yes.
upper. But if you go to the daily time frame, it will leave a rejection wick. And that is what happened. You see, we have a rejection wick and the candle close is inside the zone. Okay?
Yeah.
That is on the daily time frame. Now we might argue the same thing here. I have on the daily time frame here we have the rejection, and the candle closes inside the zone, and not so we might be expecting a bullish reversal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But now if I go to a time frame lower, let me get to now the 4-hour time frame. Now, if I look at the 4-hour time frame, we had solid candle closes here below below supply, and we had price coming all the way to 1.07. I mean 1.06700 areas. Look at the distance between the zone and this where price got to the rejections here, and look at the distance between this zone and where this fake out happened. Okay. Then if you go to the 1-hour time frame, look at the structure that has been formed here on the 1-hour time frame. The very first time we had a solid break, we had a small retest, then price formed a lower low, then has rallied back to supply, I mean back to this area. And you're seeing price still pushing higher back to this level. Now, the only time we will have maybe this setup invalidated is if we see price now closing above these areas and now starts forming like higher highs. That is when we will say maybe this setup has been invalidated. But for now, I'm still highly bearish on this pair. That's why I'm confident when I'm saying that I'd be expecting price to come to this area before now a potential reversal, or I mean before a potential now drop happening, or continuation of this drop happening. So the way how to look at it is, if you are seeing a fake breakout, check. I mean, if you are suspecting that it is a fake out or a fake breakout, look on the time frame high. Okay. Yeah, anytime you're suspecting a fake breakout, look on the time frame higher. 90% or 100% of the times you'll find that on the time frame high it has left a rejection wick, then you'll see a candle close inside the zone, now followed by a proper reversal. This is what has happened here. Same case on what has happened on NZD USD. Yes, this is what happened here on NZD USD. You can see here we have a fake out, you have a fake breakout here, but when you go to the daily time frame, you can see very strong rejection, candle close inside the zone, then a strong push. Okay. Yeah, so I hope you've now understood or differentiated between the two.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone else with a question, or maybe a pair you'd like us to look at?
Yeah, Jeff.
Yes.
I'd like us to look at US 30.
US 30?
Looking at it, yeah.
Okay. US30. What's your bias on it?
My bias is still bearish since it's still looks like it's still dropping. I think like it's been consolidating.
Yeah.
And had a zone at around 38, 630.5. That was the zone that I spotted like the price has been consolidating.
Yeah.
So yeah, still late for it to like break out and continue the bearish motion.
Okay. I remember the very first time we were looking at US30. I think maybe it was during one of the sessions last week. That is when I talked about I wouldn't take a trade on US30, especially if it's somewhere like here. Considering we have this zone up here, of which you can see price rallied into this supply. Then I had this drop till this area. Now your bias is correct. Being bearish, your bias is correct. But the question is, how do you get into the thing? Okay.
Yeah.
So how will your entry be? So considering what you have currently on this pair, and even zoom out, let me see what kind of structure it looks even on the other side. So I will need to be quick to take a trade on this pair, unless price comes back to maybe these highs of 38, 700 areas. Okay. So unless price comes back to the highs of 38, 700 areas, then I wouldn't take the positions. However, your bias is still correct. I will still expect a bearish reaction, or unless you have maybe price comes to 38, 650 areas around this area, because usually US30 has a habit of making some quick rejections, then a rejection, then drop. So maybe around 38,600 areas, and your target will be about 38,000 levels down here. So you can scalp this, or you can intraday trade this. Okay. Yeah. So in case you want to like take the position, maybe you can wait price to get to 38,600, then you can take it your target at 8,000. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else with a question? Papa, would like us to look.
US 100. On US 100. I don't know if it's a consolidation or, but the price is still pushing upwards.
Let's see. Yes. Nice. Yeah, on Nasdaq.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still forming new highs. And I remember we were discussing this with there's someone we're discussing this with, and price was at this area. Is Janet in the meeting? Hi, hello Janet.
Hi Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Remember we discussed this setup with you some time back.
Yeah.
On Nasdaq.
Yeah.
So, and also I remember Ian as well, you had asked once price had broken this high and price has formed this demand area here. So this will have been also a good area to buy from this area into now these new highs. But I remember the very first time we had discussed this setup, price was at this level here. And we can see price has made a very strong rally Maybe let's see how many pips. This was a clean 1,275 pips from that level till current price. And I remember we had discussed this setup. For those of us who trade indices, Nasdaq and US 30, and on one of the sessions we had discussed when price now broke these highs, formed the higher high. We had a retest of the broken highs, forming this area as a higher low or a demand. Then now a continuation of the prevailing trend, which is the bullish trend. So this is one of the few times you see Nasdaq is bullish, US 30 is bearish, because usually indices usually have the same kind of bias or direction. So you'll find that maybe Nasdaq is bearish, US 30 is bearish, S&P 500 is bearish. But now these are one of the few instances where you can see Nasdaq is forming all-time highs, still rallying higher, but US 30 is bearish. Okay. So it's very important. To do your technical before now looking trades, because even if you know that these indices usually follow the same kind of bias or direction, you will meet instances whereby now, like for example, what you have here, you have Nasdaq is bullish, forming all-time high, but your starting is bearish, and we're still expecting more like bearish momentum to happen. Okay. Are we together on that?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So anyone else with a question or repair you'd like us to look at, feel free.
Just have a reminder.
Okay.
You are to backtest during
Yes.
the weekend.
Yeah, okay. Just a second.
Okay.
Yes, we were to have a backtesting session over the weekend, but I realized not many people will have been available. I wanted to have that session yesterday, but I realized not many people will have been available. But we need to plan for a good day when we can have a backtesting session that everyone is available. So maybe within the week, let's say, okay, tomorrow is Tuesday. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So how about we have Thursday? How about you have Thursday for the backtesting session? And I'd like feedback from everyone. What do you think we have Thursday for backtesting? Let's have a backtesting session from about 12 noon to 3 p.m.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Everyone else,
Okay with that.
what do you think? Yeah.
I'm also okay with that.
Okay. Joe. Hi, man.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, you've been
How are
silent.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I've just been analyzing the pairs when you've been analyzing the same.
Nah. Okay. Oh, and I
Yeah.
remember you're live, right?
Yeah, I'm live.
So how is it going so far?
I took the trades that we took last week, but I closed them. Yeah. This week, I've taken the trades for today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for Euro USD to reach that area we see,
Yeah.
and then I'm just looking for a good week ahead.
Okay. That's nice. Anyone
Yeah.
else who's also live as well? Anyone else who's also live? Janet. Oh, Janet, you're also live as well.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good. How is it going?
So far so good.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Okay. Anyone else who's live? That is quite good. Anyone else who's live? Simon, we are waiting for you on this other side. Waiting for you to be live as well. Simon.
Very soon. I'm still practicing.
Okay. But
But Timo, unajua mimi ndo popcorn.
yeah. But
Yeah. So God willing.
you're one person I want to see doing live very soon.
Sawa.
So Joe, you can see price is approaching the area of interest that we are talking about. So once it gets to that area, mentioned you can have sell limits or you can have manual execution. Okay.
Yeah,
At
I'm waiting for it
1.07.
to.
Yeah,
I'm
1.07.
waiting for it.
Okay. So we'll have that backtest session on Thursday. Yeah, we can have it on Thursday at 12 to 3 p.m. Backtesting we can't do it in an hour. So we'll have 12 to 3 p.m. some good time to backtest. Look at maybe different pairs, maybe like totally different years. Then we see how it reacted. Then you also get to see, because I don't think I have done any backtesting session with you guys. So I would like us to. That's why I'm suggesting for that one to be from 12 to 3 p.m. So I hope everyone will be available. I'll also post it on the group as well, so that I hear everyone's opinion about it. But so far, I think most people will be available for that. So I'll be looking forward to that as well. We'll have it from 12 to 3 p.m. So you know the drill again. In case the meeting ends, just rejoin using the same link. Then we proceed. I think for this one we will end it at 3:30, unless you have people with maybe different requests. You want us to look at something different, so we can extend it until 4 p.m. So in case it ends, just you know the drill. Rejoin using the same link. So I had this GBP. Anyone who's trading JPY pairs, anyone who's looking at